of the competition.
Those are St Helens forwards, great deal of experience there with the likes of Kieran Cunningham and also Paul Sculthorpe, who's taken over the captaincy of St Helens. And if ever there was a natural leader, it's this fella, isn't it, David?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the leadership impact of Paul Sculthorpe. You know, he's playing alongside the former captain there in Chris Joint coming off the bench. It's something that I've spent a bit of time talking to Paul about, which was leadership, and obviously they're the conversations that say between players and coaches, but he seems to be an heir apparent at St Helens.
With a detached retina, and he'll cause Saints some trouble, as will his half-back partner Leon Price, who's been in sparkling form. Leslie Vainicolo, of course, 5 tries last week. Up front in the pack, a lot of pressure on young hooker Aaron Smith following the retirement of James Lowes, but plenty of power around him with Fielden, Peacock and Anderson. Saints coach Ian Millwall feels a very pacey, thrusting three-quarter line, but he takes a risk with the inclusion of former Samoan Rugby Union World Cup wing Dom Fonate. Only his second first-class game since switching codes, but no shortage of experience at half-back, where Sean Long should revel on this Oxford pitch. One surprise in the pack is the starting of youngster Mike Bennett, perhaps to bolster up the defence in the opening quarter, and Lee Gilmore lining up against his former club for the first time. No shortage of talent on the replacements bench. Joe Vangenaar and Chris Joint, 2 of the most experienced forwards in World Rugby, and both, no doubt, with a specific job to do when they take to the field. And the 2
to get him back.
Sun shining. Deacon kicks off. Nick Fozzard, new signing from Warrington, picked up 2 tries against Hull last week. St Helens, Sculthorpe, as David Waite said, leading from the front. St Helens with Cunningham at acting half-back. But this Bradford defence moving up quickly. Just look at that clamping around the play of the ball there. St Helens kicking early on in the tackle sequence.
Well, they'll be happy with that. They made good yardage, but the chase has got to be very good, because Michael Withers is playing out of his skin at the moment. Of course, we all know about Vainicolo and Vainicolo.
Price moving it out well there. Withers again. Good strong burst down that left-hand side. St Helens pack really have to match this big Bulls outfit up front. This for me would be the key, I think, Jonathan, where this game is won.
Yeah, it's such a big partner, unbelievable. They're just relentless. They come at you. But as I said, don't underestimate the skill levels of all these players in Bradford. Everyone sees them as a bruising side, big, powerful, but they're very skillful, technically very good as well. It'll be the pace of the play of the ball, I think, that Saints have got to try and improve. They've got to get up and quickly run at the disorganised defence.
St Helens significantly moving the ball considerably down that blind side, pulling the big Bradford forwards across, then hoping to move it. Sculthorpe again, nice slip of the ball, but it wasn't expected. Deacon's knocked on. Yep.
I think Deacon went down to claim that ball and he's knocked it on, so it'll be a great platform for Saints to attack once again. There's Sculthorpe, takes the ball in, good tackle, but he offloads, comes off the foot of Kieran Cunningham. Deacon dives on it, knocks it on. Good platform for St Helens.
Good chance here then for Saints. Out to Sean Long. He's got Willie Tallow alongside him. To Wellens. Wellens, much fitter and stronger than last year, plagued by injury throughout last season. New man from Samoan World Cup Rugby Union side, Dom Fonate. Strong, powerful lad, played against England in the Rugby Union World Cup. Cunningham, driving for that line. Very few hookers stronger than this man. Again, another player plagued with injury last season. Bradford coming out quickly. Sean Long. Good defence there from Bradford. He really did move out quickly, put the pressure on St Helens. One or 2 good-natured boos there against former Bulls player Lee Gilmore. Not the best of passes, Jonathan.
not as clinical as you may not want him to be in this part of the field. With Wigan last week, they had a few opportunities to get some points early on the board, didn't take them against Bradford, and Bradford made them pay.
Bradford, the Challenge Cup winners over Leeds last season, 22-20. And the holder of every trophy in the Domestic League and the World Champions. Paul Anderson. Stuart Fielden. Smith. Good short play there by Aaron Smith. Quite a lot said that Bradford would lose so much with the retirement of James Lowes, but this lad's filled in well, hasn't he?
Yes, he's again last week, superb performance. You know, big boost to Phil James Lowes, big part of this club.
On the 5th tackle, good pass. Bradford keeping it in play. Well, on the 5th tackle, Bradford kept it in play, didn't really make good use of it. There's a slight wind coming across, just slightly in the favour. Martin Gleeson. Bozzard. Crunching tackle there by Leslie Vainicolo. And that's what a lot of people forget about Vainicolo. He scores the tries, but he puts in some crunching tackles.
Yeah, they work good at both things, as I mentioned. You know, kick returns, coming in, helping their forwards out.
Long just tempting Vainicolo there now, then he's got to bring it out. He can't get tackled in midfield. He's big enough, he's strong enough to get out. He can't defy what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 St Helens defenders. That's a terrific chase.
Well, that's what you've got to do. Kick is only as good as his chase. Superbly weighted kick by Sean Long. Tavita Vainicolo gets back there. And it does need sometimes 4 players to stop him making any yardage.
Highly significant, Jonathan. Saints not waiting to the 5th tackle. They're kicking even on the 2nd and 3rd tackle. They're pushing Bradford straight back.
Yeah, I think they don't want to play this game in their own 20-metre area because it's such a powerful side.
Mike Bennett usually comes off the bench, but a switch of policy joint on the bench today from Coach Millwall. Willie Talla, former Canterbury Bulldogs player in Australia, but a Kiwi. Wellens, good tackling. Sculthorpe again. Talla, Cunningham, good ball. Good running too, coming in at an angle, almost foxed Radford there. Saints again, they've got an overlap on this side and they can get it away. Cunningham, Long, oh that could be too high. I think that came off the side of his boot, Jonathan.
Yeah, I think, you know, the ball was so slow coming to him. It was a good option, but poor execution.
Helens fell a little from grace last season, no trophies, unusual for them, but bought in Lee Gilmore, a couple of Samoan lads, one Don Fonati playing today, Nick Fozzard, but here's a terrific run here now from Stuart Fielden, the former Illingworth amateur rugby league player. Had the privilege of sitting on the top table at the club dinner with him on Thursday night, and I must say he kept to orange squash all night, John.
You have that effect on people, though.
Paul Anderson on the 5th tackle. Deacon. Paul Wellens just letting the forwards get back, giving 1 or 2 a breather. Gleeson doing the same.
Yeah, now you'll see the forward stepping in.
Cal Kirkpatrick, the referee, getting Bradford right back. He wants a good 10 metres between these two sides. He wants to see some good open play on the 5th tackle. John Long. Well picked up there by Michael Withers.
Michael Withers just seems to glide, doesn't he? You know, he's tremendously quick, a good balance. This guy's starting the season in fantastic form.
Deacon. Lee Radford. Former Hull player. Good defences. Smith again. By Nicolo. Not the best of passes inside, but he got away with it. Deacon. Jamie Peacock on the 5th tackle. Leon Price. Nice little kick. Tricky one there. Now then, was that a voluntary tackle?
Well, you've got to give the full-backs a benefit of the doubt sometimes. Sometimes you have to go down early, purely because if you're getting run down by 2 or 3 defenders and they get underneath you, they're going to pick you up and put you into the in-goal area. So you've got to give him some benefit of the doubt, you know.
But it doesn't stop one saying voluntary tackle.
No, exactly, you know.
You can talk all day, but that looks a voluntary tackle to me. Hazard, good running, superb effort here now. Mason's going for the line.
That is what they can do.
Terrific run from Mark Edmondson. But was it a forward pass? One or two are saying, just look it to me. But Mark Edmondson striding out there like a back. I thought he was Mark Gleeson for 1 minute.
Well, that's why he was selected on just a bit of pace. It's going to be ferocious in the first 20 minutes. I might bring the creativity of Chris Joynt on later on. Well, just that is what this St Helens side can do. On the break, something out of nothing. There's only one marker there. Kieran Cunningham spots that. They think that's a false pass. They play on. Inside ball. Look, Leon Price, Jamie Peacock got switched off. Langley tries to get back there. But that's just, watch it here. This is where they think the forward pass is. Whoa, difficult to say, that's a line ball. But from there, the defence just switched off. They didn't come in, they didn't step in to make the tackles. And just, Mark Edmondson made them pay.
When you think that this movement came all the way from the St Helens line when Paul Wellens just retrieved that ball in the in-goal area.
Exactly, that's a great finish by Edmondson. But they did switch up, they didn't step in the defensive formation. They were paid for it.
One or two of the Bradford fans with memories will be thinking back to that night last June when St Helens beat the Bulls here by 35 points to 0. They really did hit a purple patch. The Bulls can't let St Helens get away. John Long. An easy 2 points. St Helens then in the lead by 6 points to 0.
There's a hand laid on him by Toko in love.
It's very difficult, isn't it? He seems to have made his mind to go down, but there's a hand on his shoulder, isn't there?
Yeah.
Upright stance. But for all that, he's knocked on.
Just what you don't want to do. Takes the ball in. Just dislodges the ball from him. I think it's Paul Johnson with a hit.
Yeah. And it's the sheer power of the tackle. Bradford then with a chance to make amends. Deacon directing operations. Leon Price, who's been in such tremendous form in the standoff position. Anderson, can they hold that 20 stone? They can. But for how long? Bradford again. Deacon pulling the ball out wide. I thought he was going to put a little kick in. The teams normally do that. Push the ball back to bring out the defence for a kick. Knock on. Oh, referee Mr. Kirkpatrick's missed it on the 5th tackle. Well, that looked a knock on. The ball back with Deacon, back again to Price. Well taken. That was well judged. Now that wasn't a voluntary tackle there. He had to go down. He had to make sure that that ball was secure.
Well, it's a silly play here by Toiko'i Love. I think there was a swinging arm. Yeah, there we are. Watch him. He just waits. Didn't do much there, but it's a stupid thing to do, isn't it? You know, you're on the opposition line. Why give a penalty away where they can just clear it? You know, now over 4 drives, and all of a sudden you're back in your own half. Silly play.
Dominic Bonatic. Pozzard again. Tucks it under his right arm this time. He's not going to lose that ball this time. Cunningham. And this is one interesting aspect, I think, about the Saints play. The number of times they strike from acting half-back here, and with Mickey Hyam as well, who comes on Jonathan. That's offside.
Yeah, not bad.
Lee Radford coming in from an offside position.
Yeah, as Carl Kirkpatrick said, they're all offside. 5 metres on offside. And it's the pace of the game which Saints are taking a game to them. There we are. I think it was... I'm not sure what. I think it was Stuart Phelan who'd straight offside there. We'll definitely go for goal. But it's the pace of the game that Saints want to play. They know they're not as bulky and as big as the Bradford side, so it's just move the big boys around the park, you know, create gaps, make the big lads defend, you know, bigger gaps either side of them.
Saints coach Ian Millward has said for 2 or 3 weeks now that Saints have been better prepared than in any season he's been at Knowsley Road, and certainly a lot of work has been done around that ruck area. The speed of the play of the ball, it disconcerted Hull last week in the Super League, and it's doing just that here for Bradford. Long again with the kick, and another 2 points for Sean Long. St Helens then, against all the odds, 8 points to 0 in the lead.
Yeah, you know, you've got Mike Hyam on the bench, and you'd walk into any other side maybe in the Super League. But Kieran Cunningham back, fit and raring to go, is a huge plus for St Helens.
Paul Deacon, 389 points last season. Wellens, Pozzard again. Number 19 there, Jamie Langley, just 20 years of age, fought his way through the academy ranks for Bradford. Cunningham, fitter, leaner Cunningham than last season. Jason Hooper. What's going on, son? Sean Long. Sculthorpe. They've got space out wide there. Martin Gleeson. St Helens wanting to play this out wide, wanting to speed it up. They don't want to get caught in a forward battle.
But also, there's no pressure. I think Brian Noble will be just questioning the fact that there's no pressure whatsoever in the St Helens kicking game. You know, Sean Long is just casually stroking the ball about, getting good field position. There's not really any pressure on him. Just makes it so much more comfortable for him. You know, the force of getting good yardage from, you know, the kick returns.
That's the Viney call all the Bradford Bull fans want to see. And Price, he's tall for the 750 metres, 6 foot 4 inches, 16 stone. I don't think you played against many standoffs like that, did you?
Thankfully not, no.
I don't think you wanted to, did you?
No, but he's very agile as well. He's tremendous pace, you know, good balance. Sometimes you don't see the best out of him on the wing because he doesn't get a lot of ball, but he's in the middle of it now.
Offside. Well, Mr. Kirkpatrick warned St Helens 2 or 3 times in that sequence. They didn't heed him. Here's a possibility for 2 points for Deacon.
There we are. They're on top of him. That isn't the penalty. The penalty was for, you know, not going back 10 metres. I think Lee Gilmore was.
I think what was interesting there, though, is the way that the modern forward always tries to put the opposition on his back now, Jonathan, so that the defence can get back. It takes a second, doesn't it, to get off your back?
Well, that's all it is. You know, they just put you on your back. You take a second longer to roll over in your front to play the ball, which gives the defensive line that second more to get organised.
Deacon. His first chance for 2 points. And he takes it. A very accurate kicker. Nothing wrong with his eyes now. He's been trouble with detached retina, injured in training. Very, very few people expected him to be out here. Obviously, Brian Noble kept it a little quiet. Stuart Fielden again driving away. Very rarely is he replaced in a match. Usually gets the full 80. Joe Vangana, terrific burst. We mentioned him on the replacements bench. Another 20 stone from Roy. Kiwi international. Bradford. Oh, that was a forward pass, surely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well spotted.
The touch judge, I think, spotted that. They are in walkie-talkie communication, if you like, with the referee.
Yeah, clearly forward pass. Good communication between the officials. Peacock just went a bit too early on his run.
Cunningham. Fonati. This lad from Samoa, very confident, isn't he? It's only his second first-class game, yet he's coming inside like a trooper.
Well, he's a big lad as well, isn't he? And it's a lot easier for, you know, rugby union backs to make the transition for the forwards.
Skolkov, beautiful run and ball there, Gleeson. He's got Darren Albert outside him. Good covering a tackle, good sliding defence there. That's St Helens. 11 metres from that line. Wellens. Not a good pass, slowed the movement down. Hooper.
Yeah, poor. Just took the momentum out of the movement with that poor pass.
Long again. That's dropped.
Yeah, I think Lee Gilmore, a little look who's in front of him there. Here's Gilmore on the inside ball. I think he had just a little look at Aaron Smith.
And there is a difference, isn't there? Stone a man.
I don't think they want to get involved in the forward battle.
Well, they haven't done so far, St Helens. Jamie Langley. Paul Johnson. Signing from Wigan, only his third appearance. Smith. Deacon. That's good moving up by Hooper there. And Gilmore. Vangana. Oh, still long and scored. Nothing will stop him. He waited for that. The pass was a loose one.
You can just read that.
And he's under the post.
You could see that coming off a mile away. He was just hanging around there. He shot out of the line very, very quickly. Then the ball comes, and this is why you've got to be careful. He throws a blind pass, really. You know, he can't see, and you can see the reaction on the floor. Lee Radford, I think it is. And once he had the ball in hands, that was it. But
Well, you're always taught, Jonathan, you never pass the ball with your back to the opposition, do you? That's exactly what he does.
You know, and you can read that. You know he should offload an attack. Once he spins and gets the ball in one hand, any good half-back, a poacher, just, you know, just, you can sniff it.
His third shot at goal. 2 successes already. Bargain buy a few years ago from Widnes, cost only £80,000 this lad. He certainly has paid every penny back to St Helens. New style of ball this season, doesn't seem to be giving any difficulties to the goal kickers. An Australian type of ball, aerodynamically designed for kicks like this. No problems, 2 more. St Helens then moving further into the lead.
Well, that's the start they wanted. You know, they were 2 quick tries. Just watch him on top of shot. He comes sneaking in, there he is. You can just suss it, can't he? Once you see Lee Radford turning, trying to get the ball into one arm to make a spectacular offload, he just closed the space down very, very quickly. If the ball had gone to the Bradford attacker, they'd have an overlap of 3 on 2.
And Sean Long, 10 of those points already inside 23 minutes. Bradford with a lot to do. Good pass. St Helens looking to move the ball away as quickly as they can. Good strong running too there from Mike Bennett. Sculthorpe. Play on. Not a charge down, just ricochet up. We've got Richard Duckingfield as usual down there on the bench. We'll be having a word with him very, very shortly.
Just keep Mason, just come on, go forward. That's what he's going to do. That'll be his job. Just get it over the gain line. Just make sure we go forward.
And Richard, any news down there?
Well, one thing you can tell, Raymond, is that the Bull supporters behind me are very subdued indeed. And it has to be said, I suppose, so is the team that they're supporting. I guess that's because St Helens really haven't put a foot wrong since the start of this game. There was only that fumble by Lee Gilmore a few minutes ago that impeded their progress. Ian Millwood has to be very, very satisfied with the way things have gone so far.
Raymond from Richard. Only my mother and the headmaster ever called me that. Must be a Sunday. Smith. Deacon.
Yeah, St Helens started extremely well against Hull last week, didn't they? They were superb in the first half, just fell away in the second half.
It's a huge kick, that's a difficult one, but Wellens took it well. Notice how he leapt in the air, because you can't tackle a man whilst he's in the air. Good thinking from Paul Wellens. Darren Albert. Cunningham. Well, Brian Noble got a few problems on his mind. He certainly won't be thinking about the Great Britain job at the moment. Cunningham, this man Cunningham causing a lot of problems in midfield. As you said, Jonathan, looking sharper, looking fitter and faster than ever. Sean Long.
He's looking sharp as well. Sean Long asking questions all the time. Ball in 2 hands.
On the 5th tackle, Saints are running it. Got a hold. Darren Albert just couldn't get hold of that ball, but it was well considered there by Sculthorpe. Thought he could miss out that defence of Bradford. Well, a difficult one to take.
Yeah, you've got that triangle, haven't you? You've got Cunningham, Sculthorpe, Long. You know, those three-pronged attacks.
St Helens won all 3 cup finals over Bradford, 96, 97 and 2001 at Twickenham.
You don't see that very often.
Cunningham and Chris Joint remaining from those cup ties. 60% possession, when that really shows you the dominance, doesn't it?
And territorial advantage. That's what they want. They want to keep the ball. They want to go out and finish the set and then get a good kick in. So they keep possession and play in the right areas of the field as well.
That won't go dead. Deacon trying to give St Helens a little taste of their own medicine. We mentioned St Helens were kicking early in the 6 tackle sequence. There was the evidence. Pozzard.
See, nothing silly at all here. What they'll do is they'll just take the ball up. It's just 4 straight drives.
Talau.
And this will go back to either Scully or Sean Long.
There's Sean Long. And they're actually, Jonathan, they're not really kicking to touch, not looking for a scrum or anything, they're just kicking for position, aren't they? This is what the position that they've got now, 9 metres from the Bradford line.
That's right, and like we said, the chase has got to be good because, you know, they're so important, the back 3 of the Bulls.
Good burst here now from Tavita by corner. We've not seen a lot of him, coming well away to acting half-back. Deacon now, what can Bradford do? Jamie Langley. Smith. Love. Palmer Warrington and Paul player. Again, another player with a lot of problems with shoulder injuries last year. It's a good kick. Oh, that is a tester. Finey corners underneath it. It's knocked on.
Yep, knock on. But they're controlling the pace of the play the ball at the moment, St Helens. You know, they're slowing Bradford down. You know, it's very difficult to get momentum. But this was a lovely cross kick. Viney Kohler goes for it. Clear knock on.
Gilmore. Notice Chris Joint just running on in the background there. There he is at acting halfback. Just relinquished the captaincy after 10 years solid service at Northey Road and a testimonial. Pozzard. Sculthorpe. Good handoff. Oh, that's a good kick for Albert. Will he get the bounce? Yes, oh! Sean Long. Well, I don't think Sean Long meant to kick it to touch there, but there is the adventure of this St Helens side. They're moving it wide, stretching the Bradford Bulls and causing problems.
Well, it's a lovely handoff, a great chip. The bounce just favours Alba. There's good closing down by Withers. If that ball goes to Paul Sculthorpe, that is another try.
Just look at Pozzard here. Good passer, and the handoff there from Sculthorpe reminds me of an old St Helens loose forward, Vince Corellis. He used to have a left handoff like that. You don't see many in the game these days, Jonathan.
It's certainly very effective.
Chris Joint in there. He's come on for Mike Bennett. And number 16, Keith Mason in that tackle there. Oh, Fielden not happy. Looking for support, finds Price. This is dangerous now, Price. He's got a good sidestep.
Great tackle.
I don't think Lee Gilmore realised, but he was onside, but it's back to 1. It's come off for St Helens man. Good chance here now for Bradford. Joe Vangenaar takes it direct. 10 metres from this St Helens line. 14-2 for the Saints. Smith. Beautiful ball! That is a try! Terrific pass to Deacon. All he had to do was dive over that line, but that was beautifully done from Bradford. And at last, something for those fans to smile about.
It was a crucial incident here when they regathered the ball. The decision went for ball to Bradford. And with Withers on the floor, there's Phelan. Yeah, there's a tackle. What's the tackle here on on Withers. He gets injured here, bang, gets smashed by Fernando. He's still down.
In a way there, I think Lee Gilmore could have dived on the ball, but I think he thought he was offside, but he wasn't.
Yeah. There we are. There's the ball. Look at that. Great play again by Aaron Smith. You know, that was superb play by Aaron Smith. He sucked Nick Forsad in, and Deacon hit the hole. Try time.
So, whatever Sean Long can do, I can do, says this little man, Paul Deacon. Hardly any wind out here at Oddsall. Ooh, not the best of kicks from Mr. Deacon.
Bit of a slap.
So, 14 points to 6 for St Helens.
Watch this. This is all great play. Aaron Smith, watch, sucks in. That's number 8, Forsad. He just comes out of the line. And that's what you do. He runs across the line, Watch him now. He sucks Forsad in here. Didn't have to come in. There he is. Comes in, bang. Natural hole opens up. Deacon runs through it and scores. Good play by Smith, dragging Forsad out of the defensive line.
And that's why he runs flat, Jonathan, isn't it? To bring him onto the line. Bradford then, rejuvenated. A little bit more life in this Bradford side. They need it. But Smith controlling operations down there. And Richard Duckingfield down there. Any news on Withers after that tackle?
Yes, Ray. Just before the try, you saw that he went down holding his arm very painfully. They looked, first of all, as though it might have been a dislocation. They call it a stinger. It was very painful. He's left his full back position for the time being. I guess it'll take a little bit of time to recover.
Peacock. St Helens will want to hold this lead. Just 6.5 minutes remaining to half time. That could go dead, surely. Oh, well, that would have gone dead, but Albert, confidence. Wellens, no support, has to go forward himself.
Yeah, nothing silly.
St Helens are constantly using the play from the acting half-back, Jonathan, aren't they? 2 and 3 in every sequence.
Well, I think Talau milked that very well. Yeah, he said he fell over him, but I thought Talau did extremely well there to get that penalty.
Keith Mason, dumped to the ground unceremoniously.
And I think that's what Brian Noble will tell his players at half-time. You can't give penalties away in good attacking positions. It's just made it easy for St Helens to get out.
Sean Long, Kieran Cunningham, powering through like a prop forward. 10 metres now from this Bradford line. Sean Long again, finds Hooper. Gleeson, oh!
Trying to create the overlap on the short side there.
Not much room though to create it, was there?
No, just run out a bit of space. They did create a 3-on-2, but look, you know, they're all trying to do that within 3 or 4 yards.
Both of these sides having warm weather training in Portugal. They certainly look all the sharper, all the fitter for it.
He's struggling with us.
Yes, he is. Coelho. To Rob Parker, former Lee East amateur player. A lot of ex-amateur rugby league players in this Bradford pack. They scour stars from all over the world, but lads still come from Stanley, Hunslet, Warriors, Illingworth, Lee East. And is what we were saying, 22 runs from St Helens from dummy half, and that has not just been Kieran Cunningham on his own, Jonathan.
No, especially from the defensive part of their game. They've done it effectively from their own try line to get away very quickly. And what they've done now, they've taken Forsad off, they put Hyam into acting half-back, and just they're using Kieran Cunningham as maybe an extra running forward. Yeah, you know, you can do both.
Sculthorpe just maintaining the pressure on Bradford. Very keen to take over the captaincy from Chris Joynt when Chris decided to relinquish it, a player who likes to lead from the front. And I must say, I like to see him playing at loose forward and not stand up.
Yeah, he has a free role, and you know, he's one of the best players in the world.
Although possibly David Waite in the studio will not agree with me, but we beg to differ.
Everyone has an opinion, Ray. Everyone has an opinion.
Smith wanting this ball, waiting for it. Couldn't get away this time. Michael Withers still seems to be troubled a little from that tackle, holding down.
The crowd have been baying for that decision, and I thought the previous tackle was slowed down slightly more than this. There he is on his back. Jointy, Chris Joynt, maybe he has a little flop.
I think the penalty's against Chris Joynt, not Kieran Cunningham.
It's a big 2.5 minutes coming up now.
Price. Johnson. Rob Parker. Deacon. Bangana. One forward who really has put a lot of pressure in midfield on this St Helens side. Field and another one. Oh, terrific plunge. Now then, is that a penalty?
I think it's a forward pass again.
A forward pass. Oh, I thought he was going for leading with his elbow, but no, it's a forward pass.
Very late call, actually. Yeah, again, the different shade of green there between the 20 and 10. Here he goes, Aaron Smith. Slightly forward. It was a late call, though. There was nothing wrong with the charge. No elbow, just run over the top of Chris Joynt.
Gleeson. St Helens just wanting to survive this half. 1 minute remaining. They've got an 8-point lead.
There he goes again, Cunningham on the charge. Deceptively quick.
Hyam, another man who likes to make play from the acting half-back position. That's where they're catching this Bradford side out. Cunningham, Sean Long.
He'd be happy with that, Ian Millward, scheming on the touchline as he usually does. Always got something to say. He'd be very happy with his first half performance now.
By corner. That's a good pass. He's got Price away, but again, good covering.
And Viney Kohler, I think, has picked a little knock up there. As he went into that tackle, it'd be interesting to see if he comes out in the second half. You see him in the background there, the last man. He's just got a little strain, whether it's his knee or ankle or calf, I'm not really sure. But he didn't go up, he just stayed there.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that penalty was against the Samoan Rugby Union lad, Dom Fonati. He's learned his trade quickly. He came in rather late. Time up, but into added time now. I think Deacon knows that. That's why he's put that high ball in. Oh, Fonati took it well. Very impressed with this lad, Jonathan.
Yeah, as I said, it's very easy to, you know, it's a lot easier to come in as a back than a forward, and he's done extremely well. But as have the rest of the league of the St Helens side, they played extremely well. Sean Long's interception, Mark Edmondson's try. They've tactically been very, very good. They've kept the ball away from the Bradford side and played let them play in good field position for the defensive lineup. So very impressive first half performance by St Helens, and now Bradford will have to come out and pick it up a couple of notches.
St Helens 14, Bradford 6, still anybody's match.
As the boy said in studio, Saints aren't going to change much actually. It's Bradford have got to pick it up a couple of gears.
Vangana. Nick Fozzard staying off in the dressing room, and Keith Mason coming on.
Fozzard.
No, Fozzard's on. We got, we've got the message from down below that Nick Fozzard was staying off, but there he is with that heavily strapped left arm, number 8.
And they're playing a defensive system where, you know, they're going to work like an umbrella defence, come out, try and stop the ball going out to the big lads on the wing. But after good work by Talau there, just stumbled over the ball and gave away a penalty.
Probably the most effective of the Bradford forwards at the moment, this big Kiwi, Joe Vangana.
Well, definitely. I think him and Stuart Fielden, this guy Peacock's been relatively quiet. I'm sure they won't be throughout the second half.
Deacon. There is Fielden. Oh, can he get that ball away? No, he can't. Good clamping there by St Helens. Hyam in particular. Good tackle again by Hyam against the bigger man.
Great tackle.
Right round the legs.
Again, that just the poor pass takes the whole pace out of that movement.
Well, it was a good recovery run there from Rob Parker. Still Bradford coming forward. Deacon again. Oh, well picked up by Vangana.
Yeah, he played at it. Mickey Hyam played at it, so it's now another set.
Price. Bradford sensing that they can snatch some more points back early in the second half. Bradford. Parker, who's livened proceedings up down this left-hand side. Deacon.
Oh, great tackle. That's Hooper. Superb tackle. Lined him up, went hard, took the legs away. Now leaves a little bit of pressure.
Jason Hooper. Copybook. Notice the head put to the side of the hip, then you don't damage the neck or the shoulder muscles. Good strong burst there too, Willie Tallow. St Helens look very composed in defence.
Well, easy, look. Quick kick again. Slight slope. Playing the opposition to a knee.
Good play. Adventurous play from Viney Kohler, but good play nevertheless.
And taking their time getting back the Bradford forwards. They worked hard in that last couple of sets.
Viney Kohler shrugs off one man. Smith. Parker. Just got that little extra yard of pace as this Rob Parker can disconcert one or two defenders coming in. Joe Vangana.
He certainly made a big impression since he came on for Paul Anderson.
Knock on.
They're very sloppy, aren't they? So you see there's a little bit of frustration coming into the game. But they've started well in the season, or beaten Penrith, beaten Wigan, and now it's not going their way, and the frustration is coming to the fore.
But Leon Price, he seemed to be in two moods there as to which angle he was going to take. I think he was sliding away at one time, then he came in and the ball was going away from him. Nevertheless, a knock on. Sculthorpe. Gleeson. No way through. Or is there? No, there isn't. Oh, he's desperate to keep out of that touch.
Did well to stay in.
He did, and it was a quick play of the ball, and Joint came up very well. Good pass in here, Mickey Hyam.
When they get the ball, they just pick it up very, very quickly. They put a bit of pace into their movements.
Gilmore. It's the speed of this play of the ball. Bradford trying to hold them down as long as they can, as long as they'll keep with the referee Kirkpatrick's patience. 2 more tackles remaining. Little bit of daylight out wide here on the right. Sean Long, good burst to Sculthorpe, but that's a terrific tackle from Parker.
Great tackle.
Long, Withers has to touch down. It's a drop out.
Good pressure. He's really, using every variety of kick now, Sean Long. Putting the pressure, keeping him in this area of the field. Lovely deft touch. Leo Price takes him out. There was nobody else going to win that apart from Withers. But now they will keep the pressure on. Another set of 6.
Deacon reaches the halfway line, but Wellens is there to Fozzard. Joint again, getting through a lot of work now. Hooper, nice, oh, it was a good ball from Hooper, but I'm afraid Gilmore was taking it with his arms round his waist. Just over 5 minutes into this second half, the Power Gen Challenge Cup. Bradford trailing by 14 points to 6. Stuart Fielden. Oh, Peacock, Jamie Peacock, sorry. Terrific burst from Peacock. Now then, can Bradford make hay on the right-hand side? He did not knee on Price. Oh.
No, I just think, they do miss that spark, that inspiration, and he's sat in our studio today. That's the unfortunate thing for Bradford. It doesn't seem to be that spark or inspiration there. The forwards are making yardage. There's no support runners on their shoulder. The 2 centres have had Koya Caves, Toy Love and Johnson. The pass was, slightly high, but he just stumbled as he went into it.
.25 metres gained on those first 2 tackles. And Stuart Reardon coming on, man of the match in the grand final against Wigan, but gives you an indication of the quality in this Bradford side. Still has to be content with a place on the substitutes bench. Sean Long again, nice pass inside to Cunningham.
Knocked it on. The hit by Fielden. First tackles by Smith, and Fielden come in to finish the job off.
He looks very quizzical, all innocent, does Kieran, but Mr. Kirkpatrick's having nothing about it. Just have a look at this very closely.
Yeah.
He loses it, knock on.
No, Kieran was trying to get out of that. He was clearly a knock on.
But again, a good tackling from St Helens there. Cunningham moving up very, very quickly.
Forward.
Deacon. Ripped out.
And that could be a crucial mistake. They put a good kick in now. Hooper made the mistake. Steals the ball in a 2-man tackle. Watch this. Gilmore goes in, then Hooper goes in. You just go to ground with him. You don't have to rip that out. And now they're in a great attacking position on the 20-metre line. This is where Bradford want to attack from.
Parker had a lot of loose ball in this opening 9 minutes of the second half. There it is again. Another.
Knock on.
I don't think any side's gone a set of 6 yet in this second half.
Well, what did Hooper have his arm in there again? I doubt it. You've got to secure the ball. That's what you've got to do. You can wriggle about. Yeah, Hooper's left hand was in there. Parker was complaining. That's a great opportunity missed.
Long again. Looking to get around Stuart Reardon there, but just couldn't do. Darren Albert, Reardon in again. Good tackle, that rouses the Bulls fans here on this popular terrace.
Yeah, you need the Bulls fans to get behind them now. They've been quiet because Saints not played so well.
Sculthorpe. Oh, there's another lost pass. Really quite some ragged rugby here in this opening 10 minutes. Neither side able to control the ball. By Nicolo, looking for the gap, shrugs off Cunningham. Cunningham back in again. Oh, terrific burst here now then. The good tackling. Oh, terrific tackle there.
There's great play by Johnson. Great play by Johnson. Superb play by Wellens. Watch this. There he goes. Gleeson tries a big hit. Long comes in, spins on a tackle. This is great full back play. He just makes him go one way, and that is go to the touchline. No option, doesn't give him the option to go inside. He just says, right, use the touchline as a defender. Watch him, he just makes him go one way. As he goes that way, pulls him into touch.
Very well done there by Wellens. He stood his ground, didn't he? He made him go on the outside. He wouldn't let him come inside him.
Yes, you know, as a full back, you just got to cut the options down. And once the option was cut down, you had to go one way. It made a tackle that little bit easier.
We said this game would be tense. No score for the past 20 minutes. Any news down there at half-time, Richard?
Well, you can see, Ray, that Martin Gleeson has had his right thumb strapped up after an incident there in that last try-saving tackle. He seems okay. Interesting to note that St Helens are making effective use of Don Faianati. He's coming in off the wing, he's making an extra forward, making extra yards, and that's a ploy that Bradford have used in the past quite effectively.
And he's enjoying himself too. Another kick.
Was that a late tackle on Sean Long?
I think referee Kirkpatrick's waving it off. Reardon. Something's got to give very quickly. Here it is.
Slightly late. You know, nothing really that bad in it, but just got to be careful. Another 2 points against them. Ooh, look at that. 100 tackles maybe.
100 apiece. Deacon. Nice little dummy from Deacon. Oh, just couldn't find a man on the inside.
Good tackle,
Fielden was tracking him. Leon Price. Fonati.
Here they go from acting half-back.
Talau. Powerful centre. Hyam. Bozard gets it away one-handed. Chris Joynt. Good burst by Joynt. Beautiful ball inside to Hyam.
This kid is electric. Hyam gets the opportunity.
Terrific pace. Well, the Bradford crowd felt that he was tackled there. Referee Kirkpatrick said not.
No, I don't think he was held, Ray.
Sculthorpe. Long ball. Darren Albert. Crunched and dumped to the floor by the 18 stone by Nicolo. Sean Long. St Helens actually passing a little flat there. The Bradford Bulls defence coming up very, very quickly. On the last tackle. 69 metres gained in that sequence. Can it finish with a try? There's a chance here. Oh. Wow. That's a drop out. Well, that ball was hovering around there from the kick. I don't think any St Helens player realised that the opportunity was there.
No, again, the variety in the kicking game. Watch this. I'm not sure somebody was taken out here. I think Wheeler's got to be careful. He just took Gleeson out, but that ball could have gone anywhere. Watch. They've got to keep the discipline, Bradford. You know, Brian Noble is shouting at him. It's going to be tough enough coming back from this situation.
Bozard just content to hold the ball here and set up the position. Paul Anderson wanting to get on, add another 20 stone to that Bradford pack. Hyam, Cunningham almost playing the role of a prop forward. He's still going. 5 metres. Long. Hyam again to Sculthorpe. Good long pass out to Talon. Beautiful! Oh, magnificent try!
That is a fantastic
Lee
try.
Gilmore in there against his old club. You won't see a better work try all season. That must have been done in training.
That was a magnificent try. That has been worked on in training. The wide ball, watch this. There's one long pass, there's the second pass. There's a long ball with a dummy runner, and then a lovely inside ball. Because what they did, when the dummy runner came, they ignored him and they went exactly in that angle. Watch this. There's the dummy runner. Takes the defender out, Leon Price. Leon Price can't get to Lee Gilmore. That is a superbly worked try.
And I think what viewers should realise is, Jonathan, that every man, the dummy runners, have to know exactly where they are and where they're going.
Watch it go again now. There's a long pass by Long, first of all. There's one ball. There's the second ball. Watch the dummy runner come. There. Leon Price is held up a little bit, and then as he's checked Leon Price, Lee Gilmore hits the same hole. If Leon Price hadn't made contact, he would have made the tackle on Lee Gilmore. Unfortunately, he went for the contact. As a great try, well worked try. And this is a very big kick.
John Long then, looking for a fourth two-pointer. There it is. Not the most forceful of kicks, but certainly accurate. And that man Gilmore, he told me he wanted to join St Helens to get the opportunities of running wide in the second row. Well, here is one, Jonathan.
Yeah, this is a crucial. Watch the dummy run, as I've said earlier. There he is. I think this Hooper runs into the hole at Leon Price. There he is. Number 3 would defend. Didn't have enough time to get back there. It was a very well worked try. And the conversion was crucial as well. They'll have to score.
Sean Long almost flattened there by Paul Anderson. A little bit like a steamroller rolling over on you. Tallow. Mickey Hyam, what a good game he's had since he came on. I mean, he's a hooker, but in all essence, he's another half-back, isn't he?
He is. He's just so quick from the blocks.
Long.
Again, Long, lovely kicking game. You know, is that just too long, or will it check?
Oh, it's checked.
Good feet.
White corner did well there, though. And trampled Sean Long underneath him. Power, pace, we're seeing everything in this game. But St Helens really do seem to be this Bradford side's bogey team, whether it be Grand Finals, Challenge Cup Finals or what. They do seem to get the upper hands. Bradford, before this match, 6-4 favourites to retain the Power Gen Challenge Cup. St Helens at 4-1. And Brian Noble must be a very worried man now, coming up to the last quarter.
Yes, him and Steve McNamara there, very worried.
Deacon. Wellens. Well, none tried harder than that number 29, Stuart Fielden for Bradford.
Just got to keep it going now, Saints. You know, get down to the other part of the field, make them tack from long distances.
Good support play around that rock area. Aaron Smith going off there, so Bradford will miss a little bit of movement in the play the ball. Sculthorpe. Alberts.
Again, you know, the weight of the kicking has been superb by Sean Long.
And suddenly, Jonathan, the Bradford play looks very, very flat around the play the ball. There's very little inspiration coming. They certainly are missing, you know, a Robbie Paul.
Well,
no doubt about it.
yeah, you know, they seem lethargic. They've had 2 big games, haven't they? You know, with Wigan and Penrith and Grip. You know, three times at the start of the season. It's very tough, but it's gone a bit ragged now, and they do need someone really to spark the whole game up, and no one seems to be doing it at the moment.
And that's a handover, kicked in on the full. Paul Deacon's having a little bit of an argument. He felt again there was a late tackle, but it didn't make any difference.
But also, as I said, there's no pressure at all on Sean Long, and if there is, you know, they've got Paul Sculthorpe as an option second kicker. Everything seems to be falling on Deacon's shoulders at the moment. No one's really helping him out.
Pozzard.
The next try, if they score again, is crucial.
Here is the chance, Sculthorpe. Nice slip back inside again here. St Helens, they're over the line, but he can't get it down. Can Jason Hooper. Terrific strength there from Anderson and Withers. Long. Gleeson going for it. Vinicolo clears. He's got the strength to get over. Now then, can we see one of those runs from Vinicolo? He's lost the ball. St Helens have got it back with Bennett. It's all action.
And he's lost it. I don't know what's going on here.
Knock on.
No advantage.
Just listen to Mr. Kirkpatrick. He's puffing and panting there. This game's so fast. With the touch judge is having a word.
Over here.
Yeah, and I think the first knock on was from Vinicolo. I think this just sums the Bradford performance up. You know, just fantastic to get away, and all of a sudden he knocks it on.
Yep. Yep. No advantage to Bennett.
This is a big set of 6. This is.
Sculthorpe just having a word with Hooper, Jonathan. We might see a move on here. No. Or perhaps there was one and it was shut down. Paul Wellens. St Helens looking for the try that would surely put pay to Bradford's hope of retaining that Challenge Cup. Gleeson. Oh, he's got outside. Gleeson's going for the line. He's on it. Oh, that was slipshod tackling, but it was excellent play. Determination there from Martin Gleeson. And those St Helens fans have every right to be delighted.
This is a one-on-one. Gleeson, I think it's on Reardon. Slips past him with quick feet. He is extremely dangerous, but there the ball goes one on. There is nothing on there. He goes too high, Reardon, slips out of the tackle. Easy as you like. Made it look so easy, but Reardon will look at this and think, what did I do? Watch it, it's a poor pass. He stands up, he goes high. You've got to nail him. And once he's past him, it's a try. And that, I would say, is it.
Well, how fickle is form. I watched Bradford against Penrith Panthers, saw them against Wigan, and I didn't think there was anything to beat them. But they're well beaten today. And all credit to that man, great determination. There didn't look to be anything on when he got the ball, but he saw the gap, he went for it. And 4 tries to 1 for St Helens. Bradford yet to score in the second half. Sean Long then. Oh, Well, very casual effort from Sean Long. He'll not be happy with that. But Ian Millward will be happy with this.
Yeah, one-on-one, quick feet, missed tackle. Try.
Substitution for the Bulls, number 26, Joe Bridge, to replace number 14,
That's a well-judged kick, superbly done by Bradford. Just dropped on the 10-metre line, not back. Gained the possession. Langley, Deacon, to Jamie Peacock, Anderson. But St Helens are snapping and snarling into the tackle like little terrier dogs around there. Hooper and Cunningham pull the big man down. Langley again to Price. Haven't seen a lot of Leon Price in this game. Be well policed. Deacon, here's a chance. Oh, should he have kicked that? Well, yeah, brings a drop out, but I think there was some possibility on this left-hand side for Bradford, Jonathan.
Yeah, but you know they just played with a bit of pace then, haven't they? And which they haven't been playing with. You know, the difference here has been when St Helens do get the ball and when they get into an attacking position, you can noticeably see them going up a couple of gears, putting pace into their movement. Saints, I just feel that Bradford have been kind of one pace throughout the game.
First touch of the ball there for 19 years old Chris Bridge. By corner. Bradford desperate to score here. They've got to haul themselves back into this game. Bangana, Deacon, nice play. Good tackling.
Yeah,
the
defence is very well organised. They're not rushing out, they're keeping their line.
Deacon. Bridge again. Bridge. Anderson. Bangana looking for support, needs a little half-back alongside him. He's not there, but on the fifth tackle. Just 27 metres made. And that tells you a lot about the defence in St Helens. Usually this big Bradford pack would be steamrolling down the middle.
Yeah.
Ian Millward must be contemplating the draw for the round on Monday night. Radio 5, 7:45 p.m.
And they were 6-1 to win this competition before today's game. I don't think there'll be those odds after this performance.
And Bradford were 6-4 favourites. Hyam, Sculthorpe. Good play by Sculthorpe, he's got support outside him. Good tackling there by Paul Johnson. Cunningham wanting the ball urgently. Sean Long. Darren Albert.
They've certainly attacked, around the ruck. Sculthorpe in particular.
Long, almost like a goalkeeper there, Joe Vangana. He's lost it, play on. He dropped the ball.
Well, I thought it was a steal in there by Sean Long. We'll be interested to see that now.
Well, referee Carl Kirkpatrick was right on the spot. Played on instantly. Sculthorpe. Bradford hanging in desperately here. Darren Albert!
Getting slipped out of a couple of tackles.
Cunningham going himself. No, I don't think he gets this down. Surely not against 5 of these. No, he doesn't.
And he's been pushed back, so play the ball.
There's one thing he has done though, just look at how he's lost it. Knock on. I was just going to say, before he dropped the ball, he had actually pulled 5 people in there since it could have been spread across, but no, he lost the ball.
Followed by the squad number of the player who is to be one of the rest this afternoon, and setting it to 8-4-8-0.
Anderson. Bradford desperate to get this ball moving now. By corner. Good ball. Deacon. Now then, was that knocked down? Yes,
Yes,
I think
it was. Lovely ball, delayed pass. Deacon hits the hole again. But from this area, you know, they're comfortable. They've got enough time to get back, smother the attack out. And that's why tactically they've done so well. They've attacked around the ruck area. They've just gone, play the ball, and they've played in the right areas of the park.
Price. Jamie Peacock. Skipper trying to rouse his men. Vangana. There's a bit of a gap there. Again, Bradford lacking that support. Price. Play on, I think.
Yeah, knock on, I think.
It'll be interesting to see who he's given the knock on against here.
I think he's gone against Saints because he's trying to offload the ball here. Watch, Hooper gets his hand to it.
Yep.
So it'll be an attacking scrum for Bradford. I think there's someone injured there.
Saints are a man down at the moment. One player, can't quite tell who it is, receiving attention urgently, wanting a replacement on that field. Bennett, Mike Bennett.
Yeah, he's
knee trouble or thigh trouble. Saints then defending desperately. Chris Joyce just slipped now into the defence. Deacon. 2 meters then. Ripping out. Well, that's silly because St Helens were defending well. It's another 6 tackles to Bradford. 10 minutes remaining. 24 points to 6 for St Helens. And Mike Bennett, but I think what looked to be a knee injury. The referee, of course, under the new ruling, has been calling time-out when the goal kicker has taken more than a minute, so there might be a little bit of a confusion with our clock. But this is the new ruling that's been brought in, and certainly Mr Kirkpatrick is checking opportunity to use it. 3 or 4 times he's stopped the clock whilst the goal kicker has been teeing up.
and again it's that poor pass that takes the momentum out of the whole movement. There's a big hole there now.
Big strong lad, look for some, oh well taken again by Vangana. Showed some superb dexterity and handling as Big Joe this afternoon. As Bradford on the attack.
There's great scramble defence here. The scramble defence has been superb. And again the pass is very, very sloppy.
Knock on again, that's another 6 tackles, surely.
I thought that went back. I thought that went back, I thought.
Bradford putting a lot of work in here, but all credit to this St Helens defence. Doesn't look anywhere through at the moment for the Bulls. Johnson. Reardon. Rob Parker.
Again, the scramble defence has been superb.
Jamie Langley. Deacon. Oh, another interception. Now then, Here's a chance for Willie Tallow. I don't think this lad can go all the way. No, he can, but St Helens have weathered that defence. They're back on the attack. Fanati shrugs off one man, two men.
Substitution with the ball for Bradford in the place of 27, Parker.
Paul Wellens. St Helens know all they have to do is to hold the ball, keep the position, retain possession, and they've won this round. Sean Long. Skultorp. Gleeson. Sean Long again. Nice little slip past the joint.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a drop goal, yeah?
Just for cheek. Skultorp.
No, just keep the pressure on and that, you know. There's the interception. Look, there's a long pass once again. Hooper, he shouldn't have thrown that ball until I wasn't going to get there. But, you know, they don't need a score. And the short kick has gone wrong. It gives them a great attacking opportunity once again, which they've lost.
Now then, Bradford's Finey Colo. Just got Gleeson to... Oh, pounds! Gleeson to the floor. He's a big man. He's had few opportunities this afternoon, but we've got a sense now of his pace and his power. Deacon again to Withers. And Richard Duckingfield got a little bit of information for us there, Richard.
Well, Ray, it's about Lee Radford. If the Bulls are going to go out of this, it looks as though they are now. It won't be the end of Lee's interest in the Challenge Cup. Lee is in fact coach of East Hull, and they play Whitehaven on Tuesday night in a rearranged game, so you never know. Perhaps Cardiff for East Hull?
You never know, Richard. Good chance here, Finey Colo again. Flick back inside the Reardon. Oh, but once again a superb tackle from Paul Wellens. But still Bradford on the charge. There's a try. And it is Lee Radford. So, who knows? Never mind East Hull. Bradford might just have a slight chance.
Well, I don't think so. It's very, very good play. There's Radford. He's the one that gets the ball away in the tackle. Finey Colo, lovely inside ball. Reardon takes the tackle, goes down. It's a quick play of the ball. There we are. Ball comes back. Strolls over. Try.
And that's his 100th point for the club.
And that is a crucial miss as well. You know, if they had any chance, it's gone with that missed conversion. There you go. Again, Radford, lovely offload. Finey Colo gets the ball inside. Takes the tackle. And in disarray here, Saints. Sean Long helps.
In a sense, I think Sean Long got in the way, was coming back, and I think he obstructed a couple of his own players. But well taken there, Lee Radford, 24 points to 10. Chris Joint just gone off for a few running repairs, bandage round the head.
Again.
Well,
off the
he
chest.
never took his eyes off the ball, but he never moved his arms, did he? He looked as though he had a basket on his chest.
Straight through the basket anyway.
Hooper. Skultorp. St Helens still looking for points. Scorer of the first try there, Mark Edmondson. Magnificent run down the middle. Hyam! Oh, he saw that try line. Another chance. Skultorp. There's a try. Straight from the acting half-back position. He's a strong man. He takes some holding up. And St Helens send those fans back over the Pennines, knowing they're in Monday night's draw.
All came from the knock-on from Vinicola. Scully just finished it off. He nearly gets in here higher, just gets caught by Peacock. Quick play of the ball. Very strong from there. You're not going to stop him. Twists and turns, gets the try down.
The two men either side of the play of the ball here, Jonathan, were very, very slow in reacting here.
Well, they were very upright, you know, they got to go low, crouch down, didn't do it. And there's Sculthorpe.
Paul Sculthorpe taking the kick. Sean Long has moved to the replacements bench. And of course, Sculthorpe, over 236 goals in his career with St Helens. No mean kicker of the ball, as we can see. St Helens then extend that lead, home and dry.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official attendance.
There's the break, and then that's it, you know, he's very strong, twists.
15 from the Bradford Bulls to you, a big thank you.
Come on, fellas.
There we are, knock on.
Saints knock on. Saints knock on.
And there he is, my power gen, the man of the match, Sean Long. I just think, you know, he's controlled the game exceptionally well. They played the right tactics, they played in the right area of the field, and his, you know, his kicking has been superb. So, power gen, man of the match, Sean Long.
And Richard, what news about Sean Long? He looks to be in some considerable pain.
I think he is, Ray, but I think it was just the fatigue of the game. You notice he took a couple of very heavy knocks about 20 minutes ago. I don't think it's a specific injury, but I think he's feeling the pace, feeling the effort that he's put into this game, which has been absolutely tremendous.
And there it is, the hooter has gone. Mickey Hyam clenches his fist, and St Helens continue to be the bogey team at the Challenge Cup for Bradford. Winners in the last three meetings in finals in 96, 97 and 2001, and today grabbing their 8th success in this tournament. Saints are not the world champions, will be in the draw on Monday night. And coach Ian Milmord will surely have an eye on a weekend in Cardiff now and a visit to that Millennium Stadium. 5 tries for Saints, 2 for the Bulls. What a tremendous win. He was confident before kick-off. He said if you win the Challenge Cup you have to beat the big sides like Bradford. And they've done that. Richard Duckyfield is down there, I think, with Sean Long.
Sean, I mean, that was a magnificent, that was a clinical performance by St Helens, wasn't it?
Yeah, we knew we had a job to do, and you know, to come here and beat the Bulls was a great effort by the boys. We knew it was going to be tough, but we had a game plan, we stuck to it, and we got the victory. We didn't do nothing fancy. We just stuck to our guns, and we got the win.
I mean, you're up against the world champions. I didn't really think that St Helens made a mistake, perhaps one mistake, a couple of unnecessary penalties, an impeccable performance, really.
Well, you have to beat the Bulls, they're the world champions, and we had a game plan. But to be honest, we didn't do nothing fancy, and we just grinded out the win. The defence support was superb today. The boys dug deep, and we've had a long pre-season, and it's been very tough. And we're just glad we showed it today. We was glad to get the win.
Congratulations, Sean. Well done.
Thanks very much.
And we've been watching this in the studio with the Great Britain coach David Waite and also Bradford's Robbie Paul. Robbie, will give you a moment just to absorb this result, because, David, first thing that needs to be said, from the St Helens point of view, this was a game plan that worked to absolute perfection.
Absolutely, no, and Ian Millwood's a very, very astute coach, and he would realise the emotional state that Bradford would find themselves in. They've been very comfortable. You said earlier they hadn't been beaten since September, and they've set their sights for this particular game. Simple game plan. Sean Long said nothing fancy, but everything they did had a distinct, clear purpose to make sure that Bradford were on the back foot. How do you take a whack out of Bradford? to make them defend going backwards and keep them at the other end of the field, and they did that superbly well on the back of some great play the ball, some great dummy half work, and a very, very stiff kicking game from a number of people.
And Robbie, I know that you won't want to make excuses on behalf of Bradford, but what do you feel the huge start to the season, the World Club Championship, the match against Wigan has actually taken out of your side?
Well, like, I won't make any excuses. St Helens played well, they outplayed us, they made us do things that we don't generally do. But we did, as an excuse, we did focus on the World Club game as our, the penultimate game for us at the beginning of the season. We were disappointed in getting St Helens this close in the fourth round of the Challenge Cup. But I mean, I don't want to take anything away from St Helens. They played great tonight.
Yeah.
They played some really good rugby. Like you said, they wasn't too fancy, but with their quality of individual in their team, they can continue to turn you around, and that's what they did. That's what they did to us tonight.
Let's hear from one of the stars, Lee Gilmore, who scored against his former colleagues, and Ian Millward, who'll be a pretty happy man this afternoon. There with Richard.
Yes, Lee Gilmore. I mean, back here at Bradford, that must have been a very satisfying game for you.
Yeah, a massive game for Saints. We had an empty cupboard last year at St Helens, and this is the first bit of trophy, up for grabs. So, we had a game plan, we stuck to it, and we came out trumps.
Your try, I mean, we've not seen many better tries than that, but it was a team try, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, we worked down the right-hand side. The ball went across 3 pairs of hands, and a great little ball from Willie Talau, and, it was just nice to get over the line.
It looked like a rehearsed move that came off beautifully.
Yeah, it's been something we worked on in training, and it's good to see it works on the paddock.
Congratulations, Lee, and the victorious Helens coach, Ian Millward. I mean, Ian, you didn't beat Bradford so much as just take them apart clinically.
Yeah, I think I said in the interview before the game, I haven't waited for this. I've been more excited than this than I was waiting for Santa Claus when I was younger. And, the guys play like they train, I mean, our off-season's been tremendous. Our first couple of games have been great. And today, the blueprint they carried out to the instructions, I'm really proud of them. And I thought Bradford played pretty well. I thought they posed a lot of problems to us. It just happened on the day with a better team.
Well, Bradford are the world champions. They've got all the domestic trophies. Did that really get you up for this game more than anything else?
No, I think it's a reflection on the English game, how strong it is, that they are the world champions. We've been the world champions. We've played in 2 of the last 3. So, it takes a good team to be world champions. And, that's not the end of the world for them in Super League, but it is in Challenge Cup.
You've set a very high standard now to maintain.
I'd rather set a high standard than try and achieve it. Like I said today, the fans were tremendous. I can't compliment them enough, but the players are absolutely outstanding. And, roll on next round, can't wait.
Congratulations to you, well done.
Anytime.
And there was Ian Millward saying that this match was absolutely the #1 target from the St Helens point of view. Even subconsciously for Bradford, was that not quite the case?
What can I say? I'm a little bit gobsmacked at the moment. We'll really focus on what we did badly tonight. We've been under a little bit of pressure. We've got injuries to Logan Swan, Shontaine Harpy, Carl Pratt, myself. Paul Deacon's only just come back in. So there's been unsettling times at the Bulls over the last couple of weeks. All our energy went into that game 2 weeks ago. And like I said, it was just disappointing that we pulled Saints so early in the Belgian Challenge Cup. But, I mean, they played awesome tonight. I just got to take my hat off to them. They really did. Yeah. The boys came out and did a job on us.
Yeah, 14-6 at half-time. You felt you had a great chance because you knew the way that you can perform in the second half. It was still 14-6 when there was perhaps a turning point.
Yeah, I didn't feel too bad going into the second half. But I know we're a good second half team. But
this tackle from Paul Wellens was maybe it, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, me and David were talking about this might have been the turning of the tide. If he hadn't come up with this tackle, maybe the momentum would have swung back in the Bulls' way. And it's little things like this, when we score tries like this early in the second half, is what creates that momentum for us. And we're going, and our big boys get up and they start sitting the platform, and everything sort of falls into place.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped it, and it didn't. So what can you say?
And they stopped it with the kind of try which was perfection itself. It came right off the training ground, this one, David, didn't it?
Well, it's the coach's ultimate dream to have his thoughts come into fruition and look like this. The perfect execution. It's a training drill, actually, executed to the perfect degree under maximum pressure when the biggest prize is up for grabs. To beat the world champions, to put it beyond doubt for them, and really make the gremlins get into their heads and say, hey, we could be facing our first loss for a long time. The Challenge Cup could be going, and that's what they did. Gilly on the end of it, oh well, anyone who knows Gilly knows how he's thinking right at the moment. It's just as he puts the ball down. Yeah. And that's great to see. It's a great moment in sport, though. fellas to come back and play in big games and enjoy a bit of a success like that.
Did you feel even at that point that that was it, or was it the Martin Gleeson try that followed?
It was the fact that we weren't scoring any tries, and we didn't really look like we were going to score any tries. We made a few breaks, but like me and David were talking about, there was no support there. You know, we normally go through in 2s and 3s when someone makes a break, and the players that generally make breaks all the time, they're always well supported, and we just didn't have that today. So we didn't really look like we were going to score tries today. So it was kind of disappointing all around.
They got a bit of momentum in that St Helens dressing room by the looks of things. A lot of missed tackles out there in the second half as well, a lot of mistakes being made, and that was really at the core of the Martin Gleeson.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this. I thought about it. I thought we were losing the energy battle as well, whereas generally in the second half we come out and we dominate teams. Saints were really up for this game, and you know, I mentioned before that we had players missing in there, but that's just an excuse. What Bradford always pride themselves on, and the players that come in and replace them add. You know, don't just equal, they add to the team, and we've got to take this one on the chin. We're going to have a little bit of spare time on our hands now with the weeks going by where we're not involved with the Challenge Cup, and I guess it's an opportunity.